Always the same. Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم اغفر ذنوبنا اللهم ارحمنا اللهم ارحمنا أجلينا اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. A very wise ruler wrote a book and asked two people to write a commentary on it. One of them was a philosopher, the other was a Muslim scholar. Now the philosopher described this. Philosopher wrote his book just about the decorations of the letters and relationships and the conditions and the properties of the jewelry in the book, because the book was written with different kinds of jewelry and described them. A philosopher didn't touch the meaning of the book. Because he didn't know how to read the book. Here the text says he didn't know how to read Arabic. It means even he didn't know that it was a book.
He didn't know the human language or his existential.
No, he didn't know that, not human language. He didn't know that this is a book. It's a language. Carries the meaning. He didn't know that. But this very well decorated book was a book with decorated, but it was a book. That is the important thing that he didn't know. And so this text is expressing the meaning. He didn't know that. And he looked at it as if decorated, ornamented, extraordinary antique book. So, no, not the book, sorry, extraordinary and antique. Very exciting antique. But although he didn't know that this is a book and it transfers some meaning to the one who's studying it, but he was a very good engineer. He was an excellent, skillful chemist and ingenious jeweler. Knows the difference between the quality of the gems or precious stones. He described things very aptly. It's interesting, He's being a little bit here, stating the reality, but at the same time, sarcastically. He described things very aptly, means, very talented man. And he was he wrote his book according to those crafts. Now, we stopped here, or I left off last week. No, my mind is everywhere. So As for the Muslim scholar, these the seats are empty. They are not. No. So they're there. Yeah. That's for you. So you don't have the text. You can,
Sure, we can all share it.
yeah.
Okay.
Is it the first? No, this is page 2. So it's for the Muslim scholar. It is here. It's here. Yeah. So here, the beginning of the second page.
Is going to read it?
Yeah, slowly.
As for the Muslim scholar, when he looked at the Quran, he understood that it was the perspicuous book, the all-wise Quran. This truth-loving person neither attached importance to the external adornments, nor busied himself with the ornamented letters. He became preoccupied with something that was 1,000,000 times higher, more elevated, more subtle, more noble, more beneficial, and more comprehensive than the matters with which the other man had busied himself with, or excuse me, with which the other man had busied himself. For discussing the sacred truths and lights of the mysteries beneath the veil of decorations, he wrote a truly fine commentary. Then the two of them took their works and presented them to the illustrious ruler. The ruler first took the philosopher's work. He looked at it and saw that the self-centered and nature-worshipping man had worked very hard but had written nothing of true wisdom. He had understood nothing of its meaning. Indeed, he had confused it and had been disrespectful towards it and ill-mannered even. For supposing that source of truth, the Quran, to be meaningless decoration, he had insulted it as being valueless in regard to meaning. So the wise ruler hit him over the head with his work and expelled him from his visit.
What does it mean? Excuse I think Ihab understands me. Do you? No, just water maybe. Hot.
Yes, sir.
I'm all right. No, just hot water. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Of course, we know that it is very modern issue. Every age, it was modern, according to that century. So we are still quarreling about this. Aren't we going to respect scientists? Are we going to reject them completely? How about their value in the eyes of the creator of the universe? They are studying the work of the creator. So wouldn't they have any value at all? Are they just wasting their energy, their time, their human qualities? And how about those people who say that they are religious? They read the Quran and busy themselves with religious subjects or ulum al-diniyya. I'm using it on purpose here. Religious sciences, so that people get excited. You know, if you want to become an imam or a sheikh or a scholar, you have to be an expert on ulum al-diniyya. So which people are in better position? One of them is studying the universe and finding out whatever the qualities they have, although outwardly, but not reading the meaning of the universe. The other people are busying themselves or spending their time on learning what religious subjects are all about. There may be personal responsibilities, may be social responsibilities, but the author is, by making this analogy, author is saying something different from what we have taught so far and what we know, really. Author is saying, look, two people are studying the book, a meaningful book. Now, author is not saying, look, the Muslim scholar is not studying this book of the universe, but Muslim scholar is learning what we know, the fiqh, tafsir, hadith, memorizing the Quran. Have you noticed that? He is not contrasting the philosopher, the European, but not necessarily European geographically, we said last week. He is not comparing the European philosopher with Muslim philosopher in different field. They are in the same field. They are studying the same thing, which is ornamented, beautiful, beautifully decorated book of the universe. If someone, should I make a joke again? Nasty joke, do you think? Sorry?
Go for it.
Go for it, okay. Alaykum assalam. What we are learning here? Hot water is beautiful. What we are learning here? What happened in the history? I think, I'm not very expert on it, but I think this is the history of Judaic tradition. This is the history of Christian tradition. This is the history of Muslim tradition. There is no difference. First, the prophets came and offered a new world view to the people. And we know that very clearly and historically recorded, and everybody agrees on. There is a consensus about it, that the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Why are you hiding there? Do you have something to be ashamed of? Come on.
Don't interrupt.
Do this, is good. Zainab is a nice lady. You can sit next to her. So latecomers may have room. Okay. So if you like, during the Prophet's time, I think if you don't agree with me, just challenge me. Tell me. During the prophetic time, what we know now as ulum diniya did not exist.
True.
If you get
What we know
confirmation.
now as.
Ulum diniya, religious science, yeah, did not exist. There was no fiqh, there was no memorization of hadith, there was no memorization of the book, because there was no whole book anyway.
No sects even.
So, and
No sects even. Islamic sects.
yeah, no. Oh, that is later, but it is the result of fiqh. It works. Well, is it bad? It is good? No, it's not our point here. But the Prophet is changing. Prophet was changing people's worldview. How would you see the things? Although the people were believing in God, they said they believed in God. No problem in believing God. The mushrikun didn't have any problem in believing God. Believe in God. What was the problem with Muhammad? Then he wasn't really comfortable about the society. Those people who don't see the main teachings of the Quran, really, they say there was such an social injustice. So the Prophet Muhammad was trying to correct the society. In Meccan period, for 13 years, Muhammad didn't say anything about the social structure of the society. Nothing. He just said, oh, don't worship anything other than God, and don't worship the tradition of your forefathers. Just change your view about the word and make the word belongs to God only, and only the superpower, I would say, but only the superiority belongs to God. All of us is equal. And establishing the tawheed, not establishing the belief in God, establishing or making this God is the only God and nothing else. That was the main teaching. And the purpose of the existence of the human beings on this earth is just to get to know Him and introduce God to His human qualities, to His senses, and get ready for the eternal life that is going to be transferred into. That's it. Mainly.
So all that happened after he received revelation, going to the cave, and then he started spreading whatever he was feeling or whatever made sense.
Whatever the
to
message
him.
is receiving, he's making out of the message a worldview, of course, under the guidance of the message, and asking people to follow this message.
So he's sharing his worldview and presenting it so if it makes sense.
Yes, his worldview, we have to be careful about this language. He is sharing the Quranic worldview. Simple.
But Dr. Ali, okay, fine. During the Meccan period, he was speaking more, like you said, about worldview and reality and all that kind of stuff. But in the Medina period, in the Median period, he spoke more about fiqh, not as rules and sciences as they are today. Ruling in this, what's the ruling in that, and he would teach them that. So there were distinct periods.
Now, there's a problem. The problem is in separation. Now, we can summarize it if you just gather your information that you learned so far about the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the sequence of the revelations of the verses of the Quran. First, mostly abstract notions. It means belief system was established, and the Medinian period was the application of this belief system into a personal and social life. Application of this belief system. For example, The problem is, I remember mentioning this before, the problem is, for example, did Islam abolish slavery completely?
No.
No, yes. To me, yes. Why? In Meccan period, he established that no one can be an abd of anything else but Allah. And Medinian period, this understanding of I am the Lord, I am the master, he is my slave, changed. Those people who serve you, there are different words used there. Those people who serve you, help you with your work, are your brothers. No, which kind of abd is it? Which kind of slave is it? That's not your brother. You have to disable. No, it was El Ghafari. I think I'm confusing the names. Doesn't matter. He was wearing a cloth as his quote-unquote slave was wearing. And somebody said, "What? Are you wearing the clothes that your slave is wearing? Yeah, you should wear something better, or he shouldn't wear what you are wearing." And he said, "I heard the Prophet saying that those people," but I don't remember the words now, the hadith is not with me now, that he didn't use the word really what we understand from slave. Those people who were also the word is different. Means really helpers. Khadim, but I don't know. I must be honest, I don't remember exact word. Those people who help you with your householding and with your work are your brothers. You should eat, or they should eat what you eat. They should wear what you wear. They should share what you use as your shelter. That's the difference. Beautiful slavery, eh? Equal. So I would like to be a slave of somebody who's really rich. I will be equal. It really deconstructs the concept of slavery. People keep saying that Islam didn't really abolish slavery. It abolished slavery in Meccan period by defining what abd means. Abd can only be the Abdullah, God's slave. It's abolished. That's it. No one can claim the mastership over another person, because no one is the master. The only master is God, the creator of the universe. That is Tawheed. As soon as the Tawheed is established, slavery is abolished. You cannot take over the freedom of another person and make this person's freedom subjugated to yourself. It is impossible. It is impossible. For now, let alone that the companions. For now, can you take over the freedom of another person because you are rich, because you are his own owner? Can you own a person, say that you belong to me and I can treat you as I want? No, not as a companion of the Prophet. Yeah? Can you?
Not really.
What?
Not
Why?
supposed to. Shouldn't.
But you can't.
People
With this grain of iman, you can't. Then if you still treat a person and make his freedom subjugated to yourself, it means you have not understood what abd is, you have not understood what master is. You have not understood what Lord is. It means you have not understood what Tawheed is. You have to go back to the beginning, A, B, C, now. So this kind of applications that we see in the practice of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So when he went to Medina, that time it wasn't Medina, the name was Yathrib.
Yeah.
So when he went to Yathrib, what did he do? He prepared a treaty. They call it the Medinian charter or constitution, whatever the name they use, doesn't matter. In this treaty, how the people were treated? Do you think the Muslims and believers were treated differently from the non-Muslims? Different from the mushrikun? Different from the, there were quite a number of Jewish tribes. Were they? No. No. Everybody is equal. Even the religious discrimination was eradicated as far as the social relationship is concerned. Not everybody was equal, of course, but for example, I'm going to a Jewish shop. Can I cheat him? I'm a Muslim, he's a Jew, you know. I'm going to go to a polytheist's mushrik shop. Can I cheat him as a Muslim? I am going to a Muslim, a shop, a market, store run by a Muslim. Am I expected to do anything differently from a Jewish shop, Jewish market, or owned by a Jewish market? Can you steal anything from a Jewish market? What's going on? That is the application or implementation of the Tawhid in the social life, not the rest. We have to understand this. There wasn't another way of science developing. No, there wasn't. Even recording the hadith and narrating the hadith, memorizing and narrating it, hadith, was prohibited. Only the narrate the Quran, talk about the Quran.
So it was like practicing.
Yeah,
The
putting
practice.
into practice of what you have learned from the Quranic teaching.
It was prohibited to narrate hadith.
Definitely, it was
No.
prohibited for other reasons, though, right?
Memorizing it, making into a science. You see what I mean? Make a bit. I'm expert on hadith narrating. You know, they were narrating, but it wasn't a science. Hadith, ilm al-hadith. Sorry.
It was prohibited because the Prophet didn't want him to mix between it and the Quran,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
So what does it mean?
after the Prophet died, it became meaningful to log it down so that future generations can have it and understand it.
Why? What's the
We have to take the lesson from it. Not necessarily that we should not narrate hadith, we should not write it down, or what happened in history was a mistake. No, we are not here to claim all this. It is the, if you like, quote unquote, natural development of the Muslim community or any religious community. But we have to be very careful. Hadith cannot be studied as separated from the Quran. The Hadith must be in order to understand what the Quran is saying. Otherwise, pointless. Because the aim of the Prophet was to implement what he has learned from the revelation of the Quran. So his purpose of life was to put it into a concrete form of what the Quran was teaching. Right? So if somebody separates from ilm al-hadith from ilm al-Quran, that is the source of disaster. If somebody separates from ilm al-Quran, ilm al-tafsir al-Quran from fiqh or mu'amalat or ubudiyyat, separated, that is the source of disaster. What we are suffering from now. This is not a simple matter. You may say that, oh, the Muslim community have lost their traces. Really? Yeah, we have to wake up. So here, this guy is very cleverly saying, look, a philosopher and a Muslim scholar studied the same entity, same substance, the book of the universe. One of them studied it not as a book, but because of the ornamentations and the, if you like, external material value of the decorations and jewelry used, very precious. Yeah, the universe is made up of very precious values. Yeah, but just study that as a chemist, as an engineer, as a jeweler. But the Muslim scholar, that is important. Nursi is very careful to combine the Quranic studies and the studies of the universe together. You cannot study separately. You can neither study the Quran alone without referring to the Quran. The vice versa is also correct. You cannot study the universe alone without combining it with the teachings of the Quran. It means teachings of the Quran is nothing but the way we understand from the creation of the universe. There is no independent science. There should be no independent science. How the later generation developed a lot of sciences, of Islamic sciences. And some people got really very angry with studying the universe. Or these are materialist sciences, they call them. Those people who study the universe or the matter become somehow losing their attachment to the religious matters. So let's expel studying the sciences from the institutions of the ulama. That's what happened. Then, of course, with this expelling studying the universe from the institutions of learning, with the school, madrasa system, then the bell, how do you say, the chime, the bell of started danger. It means the red light started. You are bound to lose, as the previous societies did.
Isn't it so clear that God wants us to study the universe? Because in the Quran itself, like there's a lot of mention for the universe, the mountains, the skies, the stars, everything, even iron, everything is in the Quran about the universe. So in other words, he wants us to study this, to link it.
But practically what happened, all these verses relating to the universe, the creation, were that's the mentality that the people developed in order to believe in God. And now we believe in God. We are done with it. That's it. Yeah. Now, then we believe in God. What are we supposed to do? So our actions are separated from the foundations of belief. That's the historical, if you like, disaster.
Like
So
we're done.
yeah, we're done.
About it anymore.
So to study the universe has nothing to do with Islamic sciences anymore. So that's what happened. Of course, there are exceptions. Of course, some people insisted on it, but the unfortunate side of the development was those people who insisted on studying the universe as well were expelled from the field of religious sciences.
Well, this is similar also in Christian also history, right? It's not just something unique to Muslim history, like what happened between the church and all the scientists as well.
Yeah, they were expelled. So if they say something about the creation which contradicts the apparent or literal meaning of the text, they say this is heresy. Yeah.
This is what?
Heresy. Heresy. And of course they said, okay, I'm heretic because what I see is real. what you say, that's a narration. The clift between the people who study the science and the people who study the religious sciences or religious subjects had become wider and wider and wider, and at the end totally forgotten. To study the universe is something to do with European thing, and to study the Quran and the Hadith and becoming an expert of fiqh rules, etc., or narrating and memorizing it, the Hadith became a sacred knowledge. Knowing the universe became dirty, because those people who learned something of the universe first labeled and then expelled, chased away as non-religious people, because they are not really taking the text of the Quran seriously or as their guidebook. They are looking at the universe and, let's say, studying something, animal life or plants or whatever, and saying that this is what I see in the animal life. They say, okay, have you prayed? And they reduced religion to only certain rituals.
I just wanted to say a comment, it's not a question. It's just, I'm linking this to what you said before, because I did live in that myself, and it's really, really dangerous, because what it does is that it kills you. It doesn't make it a living thing anymore. It's done with, and now I've never been asked to every day think about why I believe again, because it was a done matter, and it was just dead. In that sense, like you said, like the verses, especially about the skies and the heavens, and it was almost just repetitions of the same thing. Look at the skies, look at the mountains, and it was like the same thing over and over again. There was no reason to rethink about them, like really rethink about, like, have you done something right today? Have you done this and that? And I think you said that before. It's very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
It's not something you're.
So what happened now? This metaphor used here. First, if you look at that, the philosophers studied the book of the universe and didn't pay any attention to the meaning, and it turned the universe as a dead corpse. Right? Now be very careful here, very careful. So the sciences of religion developed in a way that at the end, in the eyes of the religious scholars, the universe became meaningless, dead. You see this, the consequence of it? It's disaster. The universe became dead in the eyes of the Muslim scholars. Because meaningless, because if there was meaningful, if there was precious, of course I would study and extract the meaning, and through this accumulated or obtained meaning, I should come closer to the creator of the universe. It's totally ignored. It's a big crime. It's a big crime. So those people who memorize all the hadith and the fiqh rules, right, became European philosopher, knowing a lot of hadith, but as far as the revelation in the creation is concerned, he became this original man here, the European philosopher. What means European philosopher? Who pays attention to the output form of the creation, but never pays attention to the meaning. That the Muslim scholars also never paid attention to the meaning of the universe.
You're saying that both of them
Now,
both of them saw the universe as dead?
Yeah.
the philosopher and
And then
Most
modern Muslims, or not modern Muslims, really later generation Islamic studies turned the universe into a dead body.
why did philosophers saw the universe dead? Because he didn't apply the meaning.
Oh, that is a metaphor. Because by definition, philosopher means the engineer, the chemist, and the jeweler who studies the material output value of the thing, but never pay attention to the meaning. Now the Muslim scholars never paid attention to the meaning. Islamic scholarship became equal to philosophy.
No soul.
Sorry?
No soul. There's no soul.
Yeah, as far as the creation is concerned. So what is the significance of it? Now the Quran is separated from the universe. Hadith is definitely separated from the universe. The sayings of the Prophet is definitely separated from the universe. But when it comes to Hadith, we have to be very careful, those people who study the Hadith. When you read the Hadith, you have to pay attention to the mission of the Prophet. Now, the Quran's mission is to speak to mankind beyond time limit. Now, the prophetic mission is to apply these universal rules within a certain example of a society, so that every later generations will take it as an example. So I keep saying, I will say, I repeat this sentence always. It is extremely difficult to read the Hadith if someone has not prepared himself, educated himself, should study the Quran, not Hadith. It is a very difficult thing to do, because without understanding the Quran, we cannot understand Hadith at all. That's for sure. So without understanding the real message of the Hadith, we cannot implement the Quran into our practical life. But the Quran is a universal message. The prophetic message is to represent this universal message within a certain historical context, in order to be an example or the best sample of the practice of the Quran, so that you will start making analogy within these conditions. Muhammad spoke to somebody in his time and said, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, or you should understand this, etc. That is speaking to this particular person. So that is an historical context now. But you have to make an analogy now. If the conditions is such and such, the practice of belief will be like this, but in my condition, the practice of this belief, by taking the example of this practice of the Prophet, must be in this way. It is difficult. Now, what is expected from fiqh, or this usul-ud-din, whatever you call them, or whatever the science, Islamic sciences we call, to point out this reality of the practice of the Prophet and make it open. You know, look, the Prophet did this within this condition, applied the teachings of the Quran within these conditions in this way. Now the condition is like this. I have to apply the teachings of the universal teachings of the Quran to your circumstances under the guide of the practice of the Prophet. Do you understand? So they must have kept the relationship between what? The Quran and the prophetic teaching, and example of the universe. What the message is coming from the universe. We must combine them. What happened? Excuse me. What happened historically? First, they separated the teachings of the Quran from the teachings of the Hadith. That was the first crime. And then they separate the teachings of the Quran from the universe. That was the first crime, actually. The other one is separating the Hadith from the teachings of the Quran is the second crime. And then making the ulumur diniya or sciences of religion an independent, separate entity, nothing to do with really the universe. Because the universe was already separated from the teachings of the Quran. The prophetic teaching was already separated from the teachings of the Quran. So it turned into the imitation of the practice of the prophet. And now what you see, any person who has been to Egypt for a few years comes and you ask a question. Ask a question.
In Egypt or where?
No, here.
Oh.
But in Egypt too. But it's a joke. But what is happening now? What shall I do now? There is a problem I'm facing. They never refer to the creation. Mostly, they never refer to the Quran because the Quran really does not emphasize on the practical side, right? Gives like Constitution. You know, Constitution doesn't really apply to the practical side. The laws and charters, etc., are dealing with the practical side. So what they say, I remember in Hadith, narrate in Hadith, and ask you to do it as the Hadith says. And he's a great scholar. I don't know who he is, but this is nothing to do with the scholarship. That's what we have to learn here. So what we have to do? First, we have to learn how to read the universe together with the Quran, never separate. And then, if there is time, of course, after, I don't know, how many decades of training, yeah, and then start reading the Hadith and contextualizing the Hadith within the context of the Quran and the universe, making them together. And your human qualities, your human senses must be, if you like, needed, mixed really with the teachings of the universe and the Quran and the practice of the Prophet. You will feel confidence in yourself. That is what needs to be done. So, none of our business what people do in Madaris, or none of our business. We here, we are not scholars, but we can do this in our own life. First, most of us have studied secular sciences anyways. Yeah, try to understand them in terms of the teachings of the Quran. It means utilize them. It means enlighten them, nur. Give the meaning to them. As the European philosopher, missed the meaning of the universe and studied only the outward form of it. This is what we are learning now in the secular, modern institutions. But is it a waste of time? No, you can convert it. God changes your bad actions into good. So then you can change it. How? You can put them and say that there's a meaning here. I have to extract the meaning now. I have to extract the meaning. So the meaning in the engineering or whatever the science you have studied here in this world must be enlightened under the guidance or inspirations of the teachings of the Quran.
What about
That's
if you're
very
not a
easy.
scientist?
Sorry?
What about if you didn't study any science or anything?
No.
Is it an easy
But
thing to do? If you're a
Well,
common
you are
person.
in the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to, but most of the people are here study something in the secular science institution.
It doesn't have to be even science per se. It can be just how you perceive the world.
تأمل.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
to
Yeah, but you can utilize them. You can still go on studying chemistry, biology, physics, I don't know, sociology, anthropology, whatever you are studying, carry on studying, but pay attention to the meaning.
It's deep thinking.
So if you stop studying the universe, you cannot get the meaning. If you don't get the meaning from the creation, you cannot make the teachings of the Quran real for you. It becomes an only abstract notions, not real. Right? Inshallah. That's what the author is making in a simple analogy and saying, or especially giving the universe to the hands of the Muslim scholar, and this Muslim scholar studying the universe, but paying attention to the meaning. Because it must be important that we keep coming back to the same point, because the universe is for nothing, is not for nothing, sorry. The Quran revealed, all right? It's a sacred speech, all right? No problem about it. Yeah. So you can study the Quran, all right? But that's it. By nature, it needs to be applied to every generation, to every case in your life, by its nature. But more than this, the universe is evident to you every day, every moment. Repeating the speech, repeating the meaning, conveying the meaning continuously, right? So the universe is more handy, more practical for us than the Quran. It doesn't mean that, okay, we should pay attention to the universe, not read the Quran. No, it doesn't, never. But why, what is surprising, why have we abandoned the universe? That's a big question. As believers, not only in the Muslim tradition, as you said, Jewish tradition did the same, Christian tradition did the same, Muslim tradition did the same. But at least because of the heavy emphasis on the reference to the universe in the Quran, we people who claim that we are following the teachings of the Quran, at least we have to wake up before they do wake up. Because they woke up. Some certain Christian sects or denominations woke up, and they developed and made institutions. Nowadays, the very famous creationists in Christian tradition. There is a big group of people who are studying the universe from their creationist point of view. Okay, that's the second time I am ignoring you. Okay, I think before too late.
I was thinking maybe the reason why people start to like abandon the universe is perhaps people thought that if you value the universe, then people would start like idolizing the universe, like worshiping the universe, like, you know, like pagans, I'm not gonna speak too much, I don't know exactly what pagans believe, but, some people will worship like the rocks, or worship certain occurrences in the sky and that sort of thing. So I don't know, maybe I'm just speculating if perhaps that might
Is it justifiable?
No, I think it's
If someone
fear-based.
misuses the universe, does it legitimize my neglecting the universe and leaving the universe to those people who misuse it?
No.
Just on the contrary, I have to really own the universe even more. So saying that, look, it doesn't mean this, it must be that. How can you turn this object into an object of worship since it brings this news to you? That's why we don't have much to say when people say that we studied this and that, whatever, in microbiology or in subatomic physics. When they say we discovered this, okay, so it is happening by itself. And we say, no. But we don't study. We don't go and study and see and how the things are happening and see that they cannot happen by themselves. Because we don't know. They develop their own language. They develop their own concepts, their own terms, terminology. And we are just listening out from outside and I don't know what they are talking about. We are so alienated from the universe because of the emphasis of the ulum al-diniyya. Yeah, if you want, somehow this is worse in some cases. If you want to study theology, at least, I don't know the conditions here, but what I knew in the UK, if you want to study theology, you have to either get a degree in mathematics or in philosophy or in theoretical physics. They wouldn't let you study the theology just because you are graduated from an ordinary college. No, and you should be an A student, AAA. They have, I forgot an O-level, A-level, or A-levels and AAA. It's a very hard, one of the hardest colleges that you go and study theology. Yeah. What is happening in the Muslim world? If someone cannot get a place in the normal secular education system, they go to Egypt and become a sheikh. I'm joking.
Not only Egypt, in Jordan too. The worst students go study Sharia, the worst students.
So I know that when I was in Syria, lots of people, I don't know other systems, of course I know the education system in Turkey. They couldn't get, most of the students who come there to study Islamic studies could not get the minimum level at their SAT in terms of, there is a such SAT in Turkey, minimum level. So they couldn't get any place. No, what shall I do now? None of the universities or colleges accepts me. What shall I do now? Shall I go to Egypt or Jordan? Not Egypt. Syria is closer there. Syria and Jordan, and at least learn something religious. This is the alarm that religion is going to be definitely corrupt.
But then all the people, because they don't read, they listen to these sheikhs and they say, oh, because the sheikh said so. And
they try to just learn how to pronounce the Quran and some hadiths, especially 40 hadiths, memorize the 40 hadiths in order to get a degree in Kulli Shar'iyya. And of course, they start playing the role of a sheikh, whatever. I don't know what the people are doing, but generally the trend is so bad. But there may be some exceptions, of course. No, definitely there may be some exceptions. Now,
I just have a comment, and correct me if it's right. Can we think that we're like created from Earth, which is part of the universe, and the whole idea is even our bodies have the same compounds like iron, potassium, whatever, and God wants us to unify with the universe because this would be the ultimate faith. We are part of this universe. We have to believe in that. Like we are true living proof of this universe, and the ultimate faith is to go inside it and unify with it. Or this is how I'm thinking. The more you go inside it and the more you understand it, the more you understand God and understand yourself.
yeah, the more you study, the more you understand the manifestations of the qualities of the creator, maker, and you identify yourself with it.
Yeah, yeah.
It means you can be sure who your Lord is. That's it. You can be sure. That's certainty, reaching the certainty in one's belief.
Because we are from Earth, going to Earth, and this is part of it. We are part, living proof
No,
of the
some
universe.
language, we are from Earth, we go to Earth.
No, I mean our bodies.
No,
Yeah.
but these needs qualifications. It means this kind of language need. We are from the Earth. We are not from the Earth, but at the same time we live in the Earth. We are created within the Earth. These languages are slippery, so we've got to be careful. We are going back to Earth. No, woman, we are in the universe, yet we are not going back to Earth. We can't, because Earth is nothing. Earth itself is also transient. I don't want to be transient. These needs more elaborations, actually. It's not, now this is detail. Detail. What we are talking is a very major road now, the highway. Which highway we should follow? We should never ignore the universe, and we should read the Quran alongside with the universe and extract the meaning of the universe and combine the meaning extracted from the universe with the message we receive from the Quran, combine them and make sure where we stand in the world. Now, here I am. The creator of this universe is my Lord. He tells me that I am your Lord as the creator of the universe. I am sure of it. That is the methodology. That is the methodology. Now the problem comes how to, because we have been given the free will. We have had water. We have been given the free will. Thank you. How am I going to practice my free will while living in this universe and also following the guidance of the Quran? So, but never close your eyes. Never, thank you. Never close your eyes. The Prophet Muhammad was leading the prayer. You must have been familiar with certain tradition. There is no need to mention the name, you know. But in principle, we should not mention the name. When they start praying, what they do? They put their head down, close their eyes, yeah, and kneel down or something, close their eyes, and they pray. In Islam, the prophetic tradition, while you are praying, if you close your eyes, it is prohibited.
It's prohibited.
It is prohibited, yeah. Yeah. The Prophet said no.
No.
To keep your
No, your eyes must be open.
I didn't know that.
No,
keep them open.
Okay. Yeah, you have to keep open. And the Prophet was leading the prayer, and a child cried. It means you are in IC, and you are the imam. And you know that this is the time of finals. And the child is crying in the minds of the students, let me do this and get ready for the exam. Huh? So the Prophet cut short the recitation of the Quran, the recitation of the Quran in the prayer, and finish the prayer as soon as possible.
Like finish it before it was supposed to be finished?
No. Cutting short
okay.
recitation. What does it mean? Prophet was hearing while he was praying what was going on earth. What was going on in the world. He wasn't totally disassociated from the universe. It doesn't mean that prayer must be performed. Sorry, it means that prayer should not be performed. Should not be performed by isolating yourself from this world. It is impossible. You are in this world. Don't live in an imaginary world. It will be just an imagination. You are cheating yourself, closing your eyes, closing your ear, and thinking that you are in the presence of God. You are in the presence of God while you are in this world, seeing and hearing. That is the gist of the worship in Islam. That's very important for us. These are the symbolic examples of the prophetic tradition, how we should interpret them. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't close my eyes while I am praying. Sometimes you close. I close. Sometimes I find shouldn't. Okay, that's it. That's what Hadith says. No, you should be living in the universe while you are praying. It means that God is manifesting his qualities in the universe, and you should be responding back to this manifestation. Without paying attention to the manifestation, how can you express your admiration of the manifestation? Prayer is responding back to God. Yeah, when you are giving a present, who is giving a present? Let me see that. Yeah. No, this is a present that you gave me. All right. Look, in Islam, you cannot give others property as sadaqah on your behalf. We will study that. You have to give from your own property. We will study that. Inshallah. Yeah, we will study. All right. So, what I am doing now, you gave me the present, okay? I took the present, closed it, and put my head down and said, thank you very much, Ahab. It's not the reality. The reality is, oh, that is beautiful. Thank you very much. Very useful. Thank you. Yeah? Here, the present and you. It means I am looking at the present and seeing the meaning in the present and concluding that you are a kind person, you expressed your interest in me, whatever, friendship, etc. I had to communicate with you back. I cannot pretend as if I am in the presence of God. Yeah, I'm in the presence of God. I forgot the word. You can forget the glittering side of the word, but not the meaning. Still, you are expected to be immersed in the meaning of the universe. So that you will be receiving the meaning. That's what I understood from this paragraph. Yeah? Do you get it? Now, when you read Nursi, be careful. He's not telling a story. He's telling you fundamentals of the Islamic theology.
What's his name?
But what the author of this book doesn't matter. So, but we are benefiting from his methodology here. What we are learning here, if someone studies the universe without paying attention to the meaning of the universe, he insults it. He insults the meaning. Oh, or maybe that's literally maybe correct. He insults the universe, especially the creator of the universe. All right. How about the one who is going to be kind or in the right way? He must study the universe and get the meaning and explain the meaning, introduce the meaning to himself. Introduce the meaning to himself. Now, we should never forget three again, Trinity. You know, this triangle relationship, right? Universe, human being, both have the same source. So how can I communicate with the universe? I can with God, the creator. I cannot communicate with the absolute creator by itself. Impossible. I am in the universe. So I can only communicate with the creator through, here I am, here is the universe, and God. And when I reach the creator of the universe, what I do, I become aware of my Lord. Is it complicated? It's very simple. Did you get it? Did you get it? So I can only communicate with the creator through the universe and extracting the meaning of the universe, what is transferred to me, and introducing this meaning to myself. And after this, I would say, for example, I'm speaking to God. How? The generous God. Okay. It is meaningless. Now, what I would say, look, the one who created this water or whatever is so generous. So as the creator of the water, you are generous. I experience it and I'm thankful to you. You see this through the water. That's why the Quran uses all these examples in the universe in order to be used as a means of communication between the human beings and their Lord.
The
It
Quran
means-
also talks about looking in yourself, not just the universe, but yourself as part of the universe.
Yeah,
Just go for
yeah. That is your human qualities. So, for example, you have to notice that this is simple but essential. How would you understand that there is generosity manifesting itself here? This is the criterion is with you. This criterion in yourself acknowledges that this is generosity, this is beauty, this is wisdom, right? Always you communicate with the universe with what you have done, what you have got within yourself.
And this will lead you to you're created from the same creator. This will show you that you and the universe are created from the same creator. The more you
Yeah,
to the
the way you
universe,
communicate.
you're unifying with the universe. So in the end, it leads you to the same creator.
To the same creator, and you become.
So your face is like
Yeah.
enlightened. Okay.
So you have to combine together. Yeah. Why ignoring the universe? By ignoring the witnessing of the universe, we cannot directly communicate with the universe. With God. What the Quran says is interesting and also very appropriate to human nature. Some ruhbaniyun, how do you say it in English? Monks, yeah. Some monks, those people who disassociate yourself from and try to be with God. God, in the Quran it says, in the Quran it says, they are trying to do something good, not bad, but we haven't prescribed them this, the practice of, sorry?
You mean the Wahhab, like
Yeah,
monks?
Rahbani monks,
No,
or the monasteries. Yeah,
The monks in the monastery, it
so,
wasn't prescribed to them to
The
do
same
that.
thing, yeah.
Okay.
monasteries.
You said it correctly. Rahban.
Ruhban.
Like priests or monks.
But they, what was the verse in the Quran? Does, Ruhbaniyya. Yeah. Yeah. So, what does it mean? The practice, this practice, isolating yourself from the universe, and trying to be in contact with God. Then the Quran says, this is not the way we taught you. Do you understand? But those people who may try to, no judgment, no blame on them. The Quran says there's no blame on them, but we haven't prescribed this. It means we should not force ourselves to be with God, to worship God by drawing ourselves into an imaginary world. No, be comfortable as you are in this world. Ruhbaniyun, or the profession of Ruhbaniyya, is not prescribed. It's not really offered to you. It means it is not within your nature. Don't force yourself. Be very comfortable. Have your water and go and see the beauty of the universe and see the meaning from there and acknowledge it because you are given the ability, and respond back to him and say, thank you, I am pleased with you. I acknowledge you. That is Iman.
To vision God in the universe, to see God in the universe.
The language must be checked. You cannot really vision God in the universe, but the work, it manifests the quality of the artist. So we vision the manifested qualities of the creator. But I know what you mean, but when you use this kind of language, they say, that's why we reject the universe, and we are right, because they converted the universe, the world, into God. Vision God in the universe. They bring God into the universe. No. But at the same time, we know that Allahu Nur Samawati wal Ard. It means God is the light of the universe. Which means whatever you see the meaning, whatever you see the light in the universe is from its maker. It cannot be from itself. Do you understand? Allahu Nur Samawati wal Ard. Now, it means the earth, the universe, by itself cannot produce light, cannot give any meaning. So you cannot communicate with the universe by itself. But you can communicate with the universe only through the light coming out of it. And this light is God. So the language must be finely tuned. So we have to be careful with the language.
So those monks you're talking about, they separated themselves to a certain level.
Monasteries. They went to the monasteries.
Okay, they separated themselves to some level from the universe, but still we just said that we can't communicate with God.
Okay, whatever.
So we said about the triangle, we can't communicate with God without using the universe. Even those monks, they can't escape their bodies, what's around them, even if they are in a small room. We can never escape the universe no matter how we try, right?
No, we have to be realistic, means really we have to accept that we are created beings. Within our createdness, we can communicate with God. Not with you cannot communicate with God by forgetting your fact that the fact that you are created. Within our createdness, using our createdness, we communicate with the Creator.
I guess isolation is not the best way to communicate with God.
You can't isolate yourself.
Yeah,
That's my
that's
point.
No, but you can try, right?
You can
For
try,
example,
but-
you won't get married, for example, right? And then when
That's
some-
prohibited.
Happiness.
No,
And B, physically happy.
no. Some people we may think that by not buying something, getting something, we are being pious. It has nothing to do with piety. The piety is in we understand in the reality of the creation and also teachings of the Quran. The piety is how do you appropriate these things to what are you appropriating them, and how do you communicate with the creator of the things by using your own human qualities. So depends on your intention, of course, when you use your free will, but at the same time, we have to know that, for example, when I don't get, if somebody doesn't get married or somebody doesn't buy something, that it means he is with God. No, he is with his human qualities. Usually, no, that doesn't matter. Some people think that when they get married, they will sin less. No, the Quran doesn't say this. Doesn't say this, and also human nature also doesn't say this. Okay, this is not a subject. we shouldn't jump in, because I really like talking about this kind of things. But since it came to my mind, but don't misunderstand, we're very careful. If someone does get married without being aware that this marriage is done or performed under the contract of God, in the name of God, the contract. If he does get married, but this contract not necessarily, okay, I'm going to sit in front of a person and say, we did this formalities, not that mean, that I am signing a contract now with another person so that we will perform our worship together. Yeah? It becomes an individual becomes a social individual, social unit. Yeah, social unit. Now a member of the social unit now. So I will practice my ubudiyya in this society. Small, doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. 2, 3, 4. So, but if someone gets married only because I would use a word, excuse me, for sexual reasons, whether he gets married, if he doesn't get married or gets married, the impulse was sexual reason is nothing to do with ubudiyya. Doesn't change anything.
I just
Doesn't
want to
change
clarify,
anything.
How to get Tawbudiyya?
Sorry?
I didn't understand the first part. How to get Tawbudiyya in the marriage?
Sorry, how to get?
I missed the first part. I didn't understand.
Acknowledging that it's
Sorry, say it again clearly.
how to get the Ubudiyya in the marriage is what she's asking.
I see.
Okay.
But you are practicing your consciousness of God, not as an individual anymore, but extended to a social contract with another person.
Like a partner in Tawbudiyya?
Yeah, but now you are not only worshiping God alone, but together with your with the relationship with another person. Now your practice of worship is expanding.
I mean, otherwise, this person have to be on the same level.
I don't know.
I cannot pick up a partner if it's not.
So I don't know means
Do you?
that depends on the reason or impulse that I am getting married for what? Because when I am single, I commit bad things. I keep thinking about the opposite sex, etc. Now, when I get married, I will be a pure man. No way. No way. Because your motivation is a sexual thing. Whether you are married or not married, still the same motivation you will carry with you. So you have to change your worldview, the understanding of marriage.
So in
Marriage
other
is
words,
very
to
important,
pick
but yes.
somebody that you feel like is going to be your partner.
Yeah.
This will help you.
That is your motivation will tell you. Quran doesn't say that don't get married with a mushrik. Quran doesn't say that don't get married with an adulterer. Quran says it's very important. The adulterer can get married only with an adulteress. Doesn't say don't get married with an adulteress or adulterer, depending on the gender. No, if you are an adulterer, it means whatever you are, you can get married with a like-minded person. That's Quranic wisdom. That we understand. You know what? The same thing practically. The Quran says this. But in our practical life also we do the same thing. Yeah. For example, let's say I am very fond of, let's say, practical things. Football match. So if I go to the house of the lady I'm interested in, she's watching football. So, oh yeah, we can watch football together. Right? Well, it's a beautiful thing. So let's get married. We have something in common.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what most people do. Many people do.
When experience speaks. So what we have to do, if you don't want to get married with a person who has certain, I don't know, qualities, whatever, attitudes or habits, first you should write that. So that you will notice. Otherwise you wouldn't notice whether it's right or wrong. Because you will just feel, how do you say, empathy. Empathy. For example, if you, let's say, if you drink some tea or coffee or eat, and when you are full, throw the rest of the plate away. So if you go and see a person you are interested in to get married, it eats and throws the rest of the food away, yeah, and it doesn't really catch your attention. You see, it's a quite normal behavior. So prepare yourself. Now, so your partner will be equal for you. Don't think about the partner, think about yourself. So if you don't like something at all, and if you want to get married with somebody and notice that, oh, he's not, he's doing this, you will say, no, not for me, thank you. Because you don't like it. So check yourself. Only criteria. Okay, that is off.
Well, originally my point was like there are monks or priests that say I won't get married so that they have more time to worship God. But my point is that getting married and living a normal life, you should find God through that, not by us.
So if you cannot, if you cannot really worship God while you are with your partner or spouse, you cannot worship God when you are alone. Now, it is not God then, it is your imagination. Okay.
So for our, not just Islam, but theology in general, religions in general, they have like a history of like prophets and messengers isolating themselves for short periods of time just to get closer to God. So.
Itikaf you are talking about. That only 10 days a week. No, year. Come on, really. I should stop. 10 days it's advised first. It's not necessary. It is advised that 10 days a year, you can just concentrate what you have already experienced, right? That's an exceptional case. But we are talking about the general practice of life. You cannot generalize it. That's another important element in the methodology of reading the hadith is this. For example, a companion might have done one thing in his life once only. Yeah, this is recorded in the hadith. We think that the companion has always been like this, in all his life. It is impossible. So somebody narrates an hadith and says, you know, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari what did this once, or Uthman gave all his property. Abu Bakr gave all his property only once. But every fundraising program brings this incident. And as if this is, it is impossible. This is the way of the companions. If I give all my properties today, tomorrow I have nothing to give. That's it. How do you make this attitude as a whole life process? Impossible. That was one event. So this event, because the hadith says so, usually is presented to us as a general. Now we are talking about the general attitude. If someone has never taken notice of the message from the universe, never forget about it, and last 10 days of Ramadan went to the masjid, he will be reflecting on what? His own imagination. It's nothing to do with ubudiyya. It must be the, if you like, concentrated form of the vitamin or concentrated nourishment, but it is extracted from 350 days of experience, and then 10 days presentation. So reflection, but heavy concentration. But if someone doesn't reflect on the universe and comes to the masjid and for last 10 days, they are proud of their, they may be, I don't know what they do, but they may be just practically, no, not practically. Generally speaking, not referring to any person. And also definitions. If you have not experienced the manifestations of the universe and filled with excitement and awe, you cannot go to the masjid, go to the corner of the masjid and present your excitement to your God in 5 minutes while you are praying. So as a whole year, if you have not really gone through the process of these realizations, you cannot go to the last 10 days. It is not this the night of Qadr, or night of vigilance, or night of power. The night of power is when you really feel yourself full of excitement and then express it. That's your night.
Can I make 2 comments? One, I want to say is that makes sense, because then if you're isolating yourself, then you don't have the experiences to reflect on in any 10 days or whatever days, because you're in isolation, so you have nothing to be excited. And the second is there like I feel like in the Quran, in like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did retreat to the cave, but not after he got the revelation. Like the revelation was happening during normal times, right? He didn't retreat and then the Jibreel came and revealed. It was during his normal discourse of events that Jibreel would just come and reveal Quran. Is that true, or is my learning not complete?
Yes, 23 years of revelation didn't happen in the cave. That's what you are saying.
Yes.
But the sister is referring to the very famous, because very famous narration about the itikaf, the last 10 days of Ramadan. What we do, if we don't tell people how to consolidate their belief and their affiliation to the Quran, to religious life. So if we don't give them the reason, which is full, you can get millions of evidence from the universe. So if you don't have anything to do with the universe in your understanding of religion, you want to encourage people to get closer to God and practice Islam. What you are expected to do? No, never miss the prayer. Yeah. When Ramadan comes, that is the time now you will harvest. Harvest what? What have you sown? Yeah? Month of harvest. You have not sown anything. If, in practical terms, if you have not sown anything. So in the last 10 days, if you catch the power of night, you are done. Are you playing a lottery or what? Yeah, it looks ridiculous. Do you understand? It looks ridiculous. So what the way the religion is presented to the people in this way, because there is no base.
There's no
Base for their belief. They are bound to do this. They cannot do anything else unless they emphasize on the basis. So the result will be, no, I have to go and pray now. Don't tell me that I should pray. Everybody knows, not only the Muslims, even the non-Muslims know that in Islamic tradition, in the religion of Islam, narration of the religion of Islam, they pray. They are crazy about prayer. They know this. Don't tell me that I have to pray. Okay, what you should tell me, you should give me the base or establish the base. You should really fill me with the emotion that I should say at the end, I must pray. Let me decide so that prepare the ground for me. Well, how God does, look at the Quran. All the descriptions of this world, how transient this world is, how fragile this world is. You cannot really guarantee anything in this world. Please look for the point of support for your life, for your existence. All the descriptions, pages and pages and pages. Why don't we take notice of them? So these are all ignored. This is it. These are all mentioned as threats of the horrible nature of the day of doom or the hour. Horrible. So before the hour comes, you'd better repent. Why? Why should I repent? Because you are sinful. That's what the certain religious tradition says. You are sinful. That's what you have to trust in Jesus. I am sinful. Yeah, that's why I have to look for a redemptor. No. Redemption or the Redeemer. So I have to look at the Redeemer. No solution for myself. How can I be not sinful? Okay, they say that sin is original and inevitable, but in Islam we don't say it, but we use the same rhetoric. We use the same rhetoric. You are sinful, so wait for Ramadan, give money to our masjid. So that I get my salary better, my imam of this masjid. So give money to our organization and come to the masjid for the last 10 days, do some sort of social activity and become religious. Baseless. We have to change the rhetoric. We have to go back to the Quran and start reading the Quran exactly how it develops one's belief. Inshallah. It is the way. Inshallah, we can do something if we want to help ourselves. It is very easy. Just don't ignore the universe. It's just God speaking to us. Very easy. And read the Quran alongside with the universe. Yep. Or other way around. Read the universe alongside with the teachings of the Quran. See the correlation between them and apply it to yourself. It means participate with this communication. You will find yourself there. And you will say, okay, I am very happy with the maker of this universe. Yeah. So you are the religion will become very real for you. Okay. I think. So this man who wrote the book, nothing had written in his book, nothing of true wisdom. Yeah. He didn't really discuss. Now, the mysteries beneath the veil of the decorations, what's going on here, everything, for now, for example, winter is approaching and the things are dying. See the mysteries behind it. There's a message. And the snow will come. Snow will come. Yeah, you see the beauty in this type of creation. Everything is prepared for us. And then the spring will follow. They see the wisdom and all message to us. Inshallah, then our book should not be really thrown on our face. He says, he says, so the wise ruler hit him over the head with his work and expelled him from his presence. Do we understand this? Those people who look at the universe only from the outside, the matter side of it, not the meaning. So what they get? Nothing. So the ruler hits him over the head with his work and expels him from his presence. It means this person can never become aware of his Lord. Yeah, but the alternative is paying attention to the meaning of the universe. So, shall we stop here or? Okay, let's be. Yeah, let's get the end. Inshallah. Any more comment or any question? Inshallah. No?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you covered this when I stepped out, but so historically, when did it begin that people I don't know, like when it seems like this is historical, like when did it begin that people decided it needed to be separate, the universe versus religion?
Depends on how radically you look at the case. But depends on your understanding of the separation, actually. Separation of the universe and the studies of the religious sciences. But you cannot give it is an ongoing process. It has always been slowly. And then at the end, we found ourselves that those people who study the religious sciences started not relating to the creation at all. Oh, yeah, what's happening? Yeah, at the end, we found ourselves. So giving it a certain date, I don't know how useful it is. I would say, what are you going to do with it? So don't do it. I shouldn't do it. So it started. It always happens, and we shouldn't fall into this mistake. I'm hesitant about giving a date, but usually the scholarships saying that in the 12th century, really the radical, after the Ghazali's writing the book, Ihya Ulumuddin book, that marked, if you like, the separation, because this is the Ulumuddin, not the philosopher. Of course, we cannot say this, we cannot blame Ghazali for this, because Ghazali was opposing the materialistic approach to the universe by the philosophers. Ghazali wasn't opposing the study of the universe, but in order to save the general body of the community, he had to say, okay, concentrate on studying the Quran and Hadith, etc., and don't mess up with the universe because you don't know how to do it. If someone really studies what Ghazali wrote, Ghazali wrote many books, and also he had all his own stages too, and also his opposition wasn't really against the universe. He says a lot. Also, while we are reading the Quran, we have to really pay attention to the creation, but that is somehow the beginning of the separation, complete separation, 12th century. But some people even go even further back. This collection of the hadith and the ulum hadith, the science of the hadith, which is very important. Of course, they were really trying to authenticate the narration of the hadith, and it was right to separate the false hadith from true narrations of the Prophet. It was a great effort. We have to be thankful for those people who did this, but concentrating on this materials, hadith is here, shouldn't be fake, shouldn't be forged. Yeah, it must be authentic, but we forgot the meaning of the hadith and how are we going to really benefit from it. So what happened? The hadith became a material in the hands of the scholars in order to produce rulings, not in order to educate how a person should interact with Allah or acknowledge Him. It means Iman matters, belief matters, had been neglected and became a concrete study of the material itself. That's why in this example, the author is teaching us that if you want to be appreciated by the creator of the universe, you have to interpret the meaning of the universe and write a book about it. Yeah, so you have to be a chemist. So write a book about the subject of chemistry and show me how the names and attributes of the creator are manifesting in your specialized field. And introduce God to me from the point of view of your speciality, your profession, saying that, look, I have studied this, what I understood that the creator of these and these and these events are really, is really the absolute one, and what I discovered that this absolute one has an absolute knowledge, has an absolute power, has an absolute wisdom, has an absolute order, whatever the names stand, but endless. Every quality in the creation is a manifestation of the creator's ability, creator's quality. So just introduce it. This is what is expected from a Muslim scholar, not separation. Especially in the technology age now, You don't have to memorize any hadith. Just Google it. And while we were having halakas, discussions, online discussions, while I don't remember the hadith, for example, but I remember the hadith, but we studied one hadith today. I couldn't remember the narrators and the names. What was it? Well, somebody is very expert on using this small stuff, so searches it and finds out that you don't have to memorize it. It's there. It's in your hand. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn it. If you really love it, learn it. Yeah. But the information is cheap now. So don't lose yourself in the cheap field of scholarship. The interpretation is important. The extracting meaning from it is important. So we have to concentrate on the meaning side of it. Now, how can I interpret it? Okay, this is hadith. What shall I do with it? What does it mean for me? How can I develop my confidence in the truthfulness of the content of the hadith, rather than in the authenticity of the hadith? Because most of the people who said, the hadith scholars said, these hadiths are not authentic, but what they meant was, according to the criteria of the hadith science, they cannot be confirmed that they are narrated. They have a strong narration. They don't discuss about the content of the hadith. So if they cannot really establish the confidence in the chain of narration, they say this is forged. But this doesn't mean that the content of this word, this sentence, is really against the teachings of the Quran. No, it is not within the hadith scholarship. Yeah? Well, they say, okay, there is an hadith. Some people may find it strange, the meaning. Okay, this is not really authenticated. What does it mean? It's not really authenticated. It means they cannot really trace the chain of narration. But for example, some people, including, since we mentioned the name, it's very famous, Ghazali, everybody knows. So Ghazali narrates some sentences saying that this is a hadith narration, and they say that you cannot really authenticate it. Okay, it doesn't mean that what he narrated, the sentences against the teachings of the Quran, against the teachings of the Prophet. It doesn't mean that. So paying attention to the authentication of the chain of narration is secondary, but we made it in the primary, because this is the foundation, fundamentals of the hadith study. But what must be the primary? Does it go against the teachings of the Quran? Why is it important? It's a big business. Why the people made the hadith studies into the authenticity of the narration? Because they will take this hadith and make a base for this fiqh ruling. It means fiqh ruling is based on blind imitation of the narrations from the Prophet, never interpretation. Whether it is correct or not, I don't know. If it is something written in the Bukhari, then I can take it and make my ruling according. Not me, of course, the scholars, the people who are experts on the subject. So because of the intention of imitating the rules, then the hadith narrations are reduced to, or hadith studies are reduced to authenticity of the narration. But if you see the Quran or the hadith as a constitution, it helps you to understand. Constitution. What is important with the constitution? Values. Yeah? values. What is really what the Constitution is really establishing as this values or social norms. No one really discusses about the authenticity of the Constitution. But all arguments are going on, and the dispute is really continuing among still in America, for example, and everywhere, about the interpretations of the values engraved in the order, inside, how do you say, encapsulated in the Constitution. What do you understand? Let's say the very famous one, and everybody is one freedom. Okay, freedom is essential for human right. What do you mean by freedom? No one really argues about the narration of it, because it is not disputed. It is not the point. Even let's say the founding fathers have not said this, still the people will talk about what freedom is, what freedom means. How do we really describe freedom? How do you really apply freedom? How do you really practice freedom? How do you really limit freedom? According to what? Without damaging the freedom. These arguments are taking place throughout the years and years and years, centuries of studies. What we didn't do in Hadith narration, this. What does it mean? Does it really approvable according to the teachings of the Quran? Does it really approvable? Does it go alongside with the teachings of the prophetic life and prophetic practice of the Quran? We didn't study that. We only studied, it is narrated by, let's say, the famous, let's say, Abu Hurairah. Is it really? Okay, not. What does it mean? We didn't ask that. Okay, no. It's not narrated by Abu Hurairah. But what does it mean? We didn't study. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal aliyyul hakim wa akhiru da'wakum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thank you for your attention.
Should I leave?